Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. We are here again with a shared class among the presential and the virtual group. This is the 11th grade A, and today we are opening our reading time, which is the book, the famous book called Frankenstein. Okay, in the morning we gave a little bit of introduction, and also we communicated that we were going to read this wonderful horror story. We mentioned some stuff about the book, like in general. You mentioned that the writer and other important things about the book. But right now, because I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff during this week, we're gonna move on with the book a bit. Okay? Are you Barbie? You didn't know this, so we are going to read a book this semester, which is Frankenstein. Are you excited?
Yes, Leosita told me the thing. I
Oh.
asked it to her.
Ah, that's perfect. You asked her. That's nice. Yeah. It's good to have good flow, good communicator. Now, I put the reading schedule there in Google Classroom. So today we're going to read. I don't think we're going to do 6, but this week you have to be 6. But we're going to do up to 6, chapter 6, and then next week we're going to do 7 and 9. I mean, you have to read 7 and 9 because next week I'm just going to open the class and we're going to talk about 7 and 9. And the week after next, I mean, the week before, the week after next, I'm sorry, is 10 and 14. And in the last class, we're going to finish with the 15 one, which is very short. Okay, so it's going to take like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, more or less, to finish this book. It's really short. My recommendation is when you read this book, please, everything now is digital. So you have your dictionary on hand, your online dictionary. Could be word reference, or could be Google Dictionary. It's not that good, but and also could be, for example, Cambridge Dictionary, which is really good. That would be a good recommendation. But people, try to have a dictionary on hand. So today's class is going to be quite short. We're just going to use some time to read the chapters that we have. Flo, what time do we finish today? I think we finish. Is it 4:15?
At 5:20, I think.
5:20. 5:20. That's good. That's perfect. Good timing. All right. So I have the book here. The book is in PDF. As you can see, the book has a bit of an introduction, right? Then we have the chapters, and then we have all of the different chapters of the book. It's in good quality, so you can read it thoroughly without any worries. It's not long. It's a book of approximately, would say, 50 pages. Okay, 55 pages. And then we have activities and glossary, which is really important to get more vocabulary. A glossary that we're going to use for the test. And there are some activities that we're going to be doing in classes to talk about the book. All right, so let's kick. Can you repeat some of the things you said in the morning about the book? Things that we knew about the book.
No pasa absolutamente nada.
What? Lucas Tavilo? Lucas Tobailo? Tobailo, hello. Tobailo. Tobailo. Say something. Are you here? I think it's not Tobailo. Tobailo, is that you?
Yes, teacher. Era para que me pusiera en la lista.
Ah, but dude, you didn't say hello, nothing.
Sí, yo,
Yeah.
La toro.
Yeah, Tobailo.
bueno, David,
Remember
hoy
to
soy
say hello.
cuentero.
Remember to say hello. Claro, no nacimos hace 5 minutos. Ya te bailo. Remember to say hello. All right, here we are. Okay, so it has illustrations and everything. So can we mention again the things that we talked in the morning about the book? Like general things about the story, the things that we knew about the book. Can we say them again, please? For example, who's the author of the book? Who's the author of the book? Who is the author of the book? The writer, the author of the book. Who is the author of the book? And then in the morning we mentioned it. Who is the author of the book? As a person in the chat, Mary Shelley. Yes, Mary Shelley, a woman, is the author of the book. And what genre can this book be classified onto? What genre? Horror, maybe? Yeah, it's a horror book. Yeah, we can put it there. And also there is another genre that this book can fit perfectly. I'm gonna give you a clue. In this book we have technology. Okay, we have technology and we have a bit of philosophy in it. Science fiction, perfect.
Sci-fi.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi book. This is a sci-fi book, although sometimes people forget, but it's a sci-fi book combined with horror, which is a grand, let's say, combination. Just like Alien and all the other things, it's a sci-fi book. So let's begin. We are going to read until we're gonna do, I don't know, until we have time. So this class mainly would be reading a chapter and commenting it and so on. Are you guys ready? Guys ready? Okay, yes. Okay, let's begin. The book begins like this. Okay, do we have like something here? There are probably more films of this sad and frightening story than of my other stories in the world. Why do so many people like it? Is it because Frankenstein's monster is something that we all know, something from our worst dreams? It's an old story and a new story. Old because it was written more than 180 years ago. New because Frankenstein's problem is the same problem that scientists have today. Science gives us many wonderful discoveries, machines, computers, weapons, but how do we use these things? Will they give us a better life or will destroy us in the end? I think it's a great reflection. Victor Frankenstein creates a new man, bigger and stronger than any other man, a huge and frightening monster. But even monsters need love. And when his creator turns away from him, the monster begins to destroy everything that Frankenstein's love. So one of the main things that people mistake is that they call the monster Frankenstein, and the monster is not Frankenstein. This book, Frankenstein, is about the scientist, the Dr. Frankenstein. He is the main character of the book, and the monster is just a consequence of his acts. So let's begin. We're gonna see that this book is written, it's doing a bit of a flashback, okay? It goes from the top and then it goes back in time. So have that in mind, it's very important. But let's kick it. Captain, something is moving on the ice. Look over here. So the sailor stood at the top of a mast, high above the captain. His hand pointed away from the ship, across miles of ice and covered the sea. The captain looked to the north where the sailor was pointing. He saw something coming fast towards the ship across the ice. He put his telescope to his eye, and through it he could see the shapes of 10 dogs pulling a sledge over the ice. We could see the driver of the sledge, a huge figure, much bigger than a man. Okay, here we have two new words. I would say new, but anyways, we have the word sledge. Then also we had the words up here, mast, which is right here, the mast, sledge and mast. Any idea of what they mean? A mast is a part of a ship. It's a very important part, actually. And it's the tallest part of a ship. What is it? How do we call it? The mastil, yes.
Masti?
Yes, that's the mast. Good, perfect. The mastil. So that's the mast. And what is a sledge? People use a sledge mainly in winter. Yeah, very nice. It's a transport. It's a means of transport that people use in, I don't know, Greenland, places where there are a lot of snow, right? And sledges are moved by what do they use to move the sledges? Yes, Barbie. Yeah, they are sometimes gravity. Yeah, sometimes gravity. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you're going down the hill, you just need that, right? Just a sledge, snow, and gravity. But what about other times? What do they use to pull the sledge to move through the ice, through the snow with the sledge? Any idea?
Wood?
Wood.
Something made of wood?
I mean, the sledge is made of wood. That's true. Sometimes metal, but wood. But what do they use to move the sledge?
The snow?
Yeah, that is the means. Yeah, we need snow. But what is pulling the sledge? Something is pulling the sledge. And usually a lot of them. It's not just one thing.
Dogs.
Dogs, yeah. Dogs, snow dogs, right? Like big snow dogs. They are pulling the husky dogs. Yeah, I think they're huskies. That's true. And they are pulling the sledge, right? A difficult job, right? That's why there are many of them. And what they do is to pull the thing. In some other countries, they use this deer, stag. I think they use stags, right? The big deer with the horns. All right, let's continue. So there are 10 dogs pulling a sledge. He could see the driver from the other place. Okay. The sledge came nearer and nearer to the sea. Soon it was a quarter of a mile from the ship. No one needed a telescope now to see the huge figure of the driver. Suddenly, the sledge went behind the mountain of ice and disappeared. At that moment, another sledge appeared. It too was moving fast, and it was clearly chasing the first sledge. The driver was a smaller figure, much like an ordinary man. Faster and faster the dogs ran. Then the second sledge also disappeared behind the mountain. 2 hours passed, and the sledges did not appear again. Nothing moved on the ice. Soon night came, and in the night there was a storm. And in the morning the sailors saw a great piece of ice were floating around the ship. Suddenly the sailor of a mast shouted again, "Captain, I can see a man on the ice." The sailor was pointing to a piece of ice that was floating near the ship, and there was a man sitting on the ice. And near him was a broken sledge. The man was nearly dead from cold and could not walk. The sailors carried him carefully onto the ship and took him to the captain, who said, "Welcome to my ship. I am the captain, and my name is Robert Walton." "Thank you, Captain Walton," the man said. "My name is Dr. Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein." And then he fainted and said not more. 2 days passed before the man was strong enough to talk, and then the captain asked him to tell his story. "I'm trying to catch someone," said Frankenstein. "That's why I have to come so far north on the ice." "We saw you following someone," the captain said. "He was huge, much bigger than a man. We saw his sledge just in front of you on the night before the storm." "I'm pleased that you saw that huge figure," Frankenstein said. "Perhaps that will help you to believe my story." During the days while the captain worked on the ship, Frankenstein wrote down his story, and each evening he read what he had written to the captain. Here is Frankenstein's story. And here we begin with the story of Frankenstein. So we're gonna ask a person from the class, who would like to read this first page? It's very short, to be honest. Who would like to start reading the first chapter of the book? Do we have anyone in the class that would like to read the first page of the book? Anyone? Anyone would like to try? Okay, we have a message. Ding dong. Okay, Flo, let's do this. Let's do this. If you have a problem with pronunciation, you can stop. I can give you the word. You repeat it and you continue. Okay, let's go.
I was born in Switzerland, in the town of Geneva.
Mhm.
My parents loved each other very much, and I learned from the example of their love. I learned that to love and to be patient are the most important things in the world. My mother hoped, oh, oh, ahora sí.
Yeah.
My mother hoped to have a daughter after I was born, but for 5 years I was the only child. And then my mother found a sister for me. She was helping a family in which there were 5 children. They were very poor, and the children were thin and hungry. One of the children was a little girl with golden hair and blue eyes. Her name was Elizabeth. My mother took the little girl into our family, and Elizabeth became the daughter that my mother had always wanted. As I grew older, my love for Elizabeth became stronger all the time. Later, my mother had two other sons, Ernest and William. A young woman called Justine came to live in the house to help my mother with the children. We loved her as much as we love us. The years passed
Mhm.
happily, and we had everything that we needed. At school, I met another very fine person. His name was Henry Clerval, and he was very clever. My family also liked him very much, so he was a welcome visitor to our house.
Pretty nice. Well read. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so we have here an idea, right? Uh, so first question would be, okay, let's finish the first chapter first. Okay, let's finish the first chapter. Okay, who would like to continue with this tiny part? This is the end of the chapter number 2. Okay, oh, there's another person. That's good, Kine. Thanks, man. Appreciate this tiny part. That is the end of the chapter 2. Let me put it a bit bigger for you. Okay, my master. Let's go. Thank you, Flo. Well read. Incredibly. Good sounds.
From I studied, right?
I studied. Yeah.
Yeah. I studied very hard at school. I wanted to know the secrets of life, and most of all, I wanted to know how to make living things. I read all the books that I could find. One day something happened that added a new idea to the ideas that I already had. It was 15 at the time. I was 15 at the time, and we were on holiday in the mountains. There was a wild storm, and with it came the most frightening thunder and lightning that I have ever seen in my life. About 20 meters in front of our house was a great tree. Suddenly, a huge fork of lightning hit the tree. After a few seconds, there was nothing left of it except a black piece of wood, 2 meters high. The lightning had destroyed it. I saw how strong electricity was. I began to read all of the books that I could find about electricity and its terrible.
And it's terrible power. Good, dude. Very, very nice. So from this chapter number 2, which is, I would say, is the first one from the book, we can get an idea. Okay, about Frankenstein's family. Do we know the name of his mother? Do we know the name? Do we know the name of his mother? People. The chat. Sorry. Added. Yes, added. Because finishes with D, so you need to do id. Added. Okay, no worries. Yes. Okay, so is Frankenstein an only child? Is Frankenstein an only child? Question, people?
No.
No, we don't. We know that he has siblings, right? Who are the siblings? Who are the siblings? We don't say brothers because there's also another person, but siblings. How many siblings does he have?
3, Elizabeth, Ernest, and William, I think.
Yes, so the two of them, the last two are little kids, right? And then we have Elizabeth. What's the difference between Elizabeth and William and the other kid?
That Elizabeth was adopted.
She was adopted, right? She was adopted, and they say that she was the daughter that her mom ever wanted. Yeah, we know that. Good, good, good. Tell me about this guy, Frankenstein. They mentioned they had a very close friend, a very close friend. Tell me about him. Where did he meet him? He has a friend, or he had a friend. What's the name of his friend? Henry. Yeah, that's his friend, Henry. Where did they meet him? Where?
At school.
At school. They met at school, right? And we can say, what kind of student? What kind of a student is Frankenstein? How would you describe him as a student? How is he? How is he? By the description that we get, how is he at school, people? Anyone? Or maybe how is he as a person? Maybe that can work as well, more general, but it works. How is he as a person or as a student? Tell me. People? He was curious. Yes, perfect. He's curious, smart. We think he's probably smart, curious. He studied very hard. Yeah, that is okay. That's perfect. That's literal in the text. And he became obsessed about something from an early age. I think they say 15. He became obsessed with what? What is his obsession? I mean, it's not his obsession, but he became fixed about something. Something called his attention. What's that? The chat.
How to make living things.
How to make living things. Yeah, how to make living things. That's true. That's one of his main things to look at. And also there's another thing. Electricity. Okay, so how to make living things and electricity because something happened. What happened? How did he become so fixed? If you are fixed, I'm gonna write it here. If you are fixed on something, it means that you are not obsessive, but you are really interested on something. How did he become fixed on electricity?
Because of a storm.
Because of a storm. Yeah, yeah. They were. What were they doing?
I can't remember exactly, but he said that it was a tree, and then a light came, and suddenly it was only darkness.
Mhm. That's true. The power of a lightning. Yeah, he saw a lightning, and he saw lightning like burning or destroying or breaking a tree. Perfect. Yes, that's how he became fixed on electricity. So I'm gonna move this one. Palula, please, can you make it here? We're gonna do 3 and we're finished. Okay, this is, let me see how big, how long is it? Okay, Palula, let's do this page. This one. For 17.
For 17 years, my life was very happy. Then the first sad thing happened. My mother became very ill, and soon she knew that she was dying. Just before she died, she asked Elizabeth and me to go to her room. She held our hands and said, "My children, I'm very happy because you love each other, and because one day you will get married. Everyone in the family loves you, Elizabeth. Will you take my place in the family, my dear? I can die happy if you will look after them when I have gone."
Oh, sad. Okay. Parulas?
My mother died, and we were very sad because we loved her dearly. Elizabeth was brave and helped us. Her sweet smile gave us some happiness in the unhappy days after my mother's death. The time came for me to go to university. I did not want to leave my family, but we had all knew that I should go. It was hard to leave too, because the parents of my good friend Henrik Lerval will not let him go to university with me, and so I had to go alone.
Yeah, continue, Palulita.
On my first day at university, I met my teacher, Professor Waldman, who was one of the greatest scientists in the world. He gave a wonderful talk to all the students who were starting at the university. He ended his talk by saying, "Some of you will become the great scientists of tomorrow. You must study hard and discover everything that you can. This is why God made you intelligent, to help other people." After the professor's talk, I thought very carefully. I remembered the storm when I was 15. I remember how the lightning had destroyed the tree. I wanted to use electricity to help people, and I wanted to discover the secrets of life. I decided to work on these two things. I did not know then that my work would destroy me and the people that I love. I started work the next day. I worked very hard, and soon Professor Waldman and I realized that I could learn to be a good scientist. The professor helped me very much. Another life into a body.
Another important?
Another important scientist who were his friend helped me too. I was interested in my work, and I did not take one day's holiday during the next 2 days. I did not go home, and my letters to my family were very short. After 2 years, I had discovered many things, and I built a scientific machine that was better than anything in the university. My machine will help me answer the most important questions of all. How does life begin? Is it possible to put life into dead things? To answer these questions about life, I had to learn first about death. I had to watch bodies from the moment when they died and the warm life left them. In the hospital and at the university, I watched the dying and the dead. Day after day, months after months, I followed death. It was dark and terrible time. Then one day, the answer came to me. Suddenly, I was sure that I knew the secrets of life. I knew that I could put life into a body that was not alive. I worked harder and harder now. I slept for only a short time each night, and I did not eat much food. I wrote to my family less often, but they loved me and did not stop writing to me. They said they understood how busy I was. They did not want me to stop work to write or to see them. They would wait until I had more time. They hoped to see me very soon. The professors realized that I was doing very important work, and so they gave me my own laboratory. There was a small flat above the laboratory where I lived, and sometimes I stayed inside the building for a week and did not go out.
Thank you, Palula. Stop there. Yeah, Palula. Good. You went on it pretty well. And let's finish with Benjamin Towers. Let's finish with you, Master. Do we have Benjamin Towers? Do we have the pleasure of having Benjamin Towers? Maybe she's not here. Teacher Valentina? Maybe. Who's here?
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Ah, there you are. Okay. The remaining part is really short, so let's finish.
Above the laboratory, I built a very tall mast. It was 150 meters high and higher than the tallest building in the city. The mast could catch lightning and could send electricity down to my machine in the laboratory. I had never forgotten the lightning that had destroyed the tree. There had been so much power in the electricity of that lightning. I believed I could use that electricity to give life to things that were dead. I will say no more than that. The secret of my machine must die with me. I was a very clever scientist, but I did not realize then what a terrible mistake I was making.
Perfect. Okay, people. So that's the end of chapter 3. So thank you, Valentina. Well read. Your piece of work is next week. Next week, we are going to talk about chapters 1 to 6. So there are 2 more chapters you need to read. Please read them, okay? Please read them because I'm gonna do Kahoot, right? About chapters 1 to 6, and I want you to participate, and also we can have a conversation about those chapters. Okay, people. So enjoy the rest of the day. What do you think about the start of the book? What did you think about the start? Any comments about the beginning of the book? Cool. Thank you. Mr. Tower, we're calling you and you didn't appear, you didn't show up. But glad you're here again. All right. It's an interesting beginning because it has like a plot twist. The first time I read it, I thought the Frankenstein was the monster, and then the Frankenstein is a doctor. So I mean the scientist. So it's quite revealing. Okay, don't worry, Towers.